I thought I'd take a second just to talk about another film that I watched. I watched it last night on Netflix. I watched Marriage Story with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. And this is another movie kind of like Knives Out. The performances are excellent. Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver probably delivering the best performance of either one of their careers. Like they're great performances. I had some issues with the overall story and the way that it was put together. I don't know if I didn't know a lot about this movie. If it's not like a big high-profile release, I try not to watch any trailers or read anything about it. So going into this, I thought it was going to be much more about the actual marriage and the deterioration of a marriage leading to a divorce. This movie just picks up right when the divorce is in the early stages, so right when it's happening. So this more involves like lawyers and courtroom drama scenes and stuff like that. Like it's not really about like them together. Like they have one huge argument in the movie and it's a great scene. But this movie is more like them trying to coexist together, and they have a kid and trying to worry about like what's going to happen to him in the aftermath. And they living in two different cities, and Adam Driver's kind of going back and forth, and he wants to live in New York and she wants to live in LA. She's an actress, he's a theater director, all that kind of stuff. And it just, to me, it felt so unrelatable. And I said this last night in my review, because I reviewed it on my Instagram page, Mid-Level Movie Reviews, right after I watched it. So my feelings were kind of raw. I was very critical of this movie. It felt very unrealistic. Somebody called me out on saying that, and they're like, it's not unrealistic because that's how a theater director and an actress would act in a relationship. Alright, that's fine. Like, you can say that, but to me, it's your job as a director to make your material relatable to the average moviegoer. And I felt no connection to the story, to these characters. I found their decisions and just the things that they did completely conflicting with their personalities in the movie. And that was my big problem with it. It's not that it wasn't very well acted, very well performed, very well directed. The dialogue was very good as well. You got Laura Dern in this movie. She's excellent. Ray Liotta's in this. He's excellent. They're bringing a real gravitas to these performances, and they're excellent. Like, they're Oscar caliber performances. The movie itself is not great, in my opinion. It's very average. It's very mediocre. It's not to the level of those performances. Like, the writing is good, but it doesn't connect. Like, at least to me. Like, I'm married. I've been married for 11 years. I've got kids. I've never been through a divorce. Don't want to. But I can imagine, like, if me and my wife were getting a divorce, we would not be interacting with each other the way that these two are. And especially under the circumstances. This movie, I've heard some people say that it does a good job of kind of giving you the negatives of both characters. Like, neither one of them's perfect. I couldn't disagree more. I think the movie heavily leans in Scarlett Johansson's favor as far as like who you are supposed to root for, because spoiler alert, Adam Driver cheats on her in the movie. Like that's kind of what leads to the divorce, and then it's not, but it kind of is. So like, to me, they're painting him as more the bad guy, and she does bad things in the movie, but like nothing is as bad as that. So like, he's painted as the bad guy from the moment that comes out. But they still interact with each other in this very cordial way, like sometimes, and then sometimes they're like, Adam Driver just breaking out in these violent outbursts, and he's saying the F word in front of his kid, and it all seems very inconsistent from one scene to the next, very disjointed. And I know this is probably an unpopular opinion. This movie has got a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, a lot of people love this movie. And overall, I would recommend watching it. I think it's a decent movie with great performances. But I just had a lot of problems with it. And it's not what I would call a best of the year. It's not like there's people, reviewers that I respect, giving this movie like 10 out of 10 perfect scores. And to me, it did not hit me that way at all. And I wish that it did, but it did not. So that's my review of Marriage Story. If you want to check out my written form review of it, go on my Instagram page, Mid-Level Movie Reviews, and check that out right now.